am Ayushi Dholakia, your host for this afternoon, and we are here at the Mumbai International Film Festival for a thought-provoking pitching session and discussion, which will be followed by a panel discussion that explores the symbiotic relationship between documentary filmmaking and corporate branding. We extend our gratitude to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, the National Film Development Corporation, and the Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Kolkata. We all know that documentaries offer a unique medium for brands to communicate their values and commitment to social issues. Today's session will delve into how these films can enhance brand perception, engage stakeholders, foster public trust, and drive meaningful social change. This session will include various pitches that covers the topic of women empowerment, environment and sustainability, healthcare, arts and culture, and sports. It gives me immense pleasure to invite on stage Mr. Chandrasekhar Mantha, Head of Media and Entertainment and partner at Deloitte India, who's also our moderator for today's session. May I please request him to come on stage and move forward with today's pitching session.
Hi, welcome all for the session, and really look forward to interacting with everyone here and my eminent panel members as well very shortly. But before we get there, we have a few pitches to go through and understand the narrative and also deliberate on them. So with that, I think without making any further delays, let's get on to the first pitch. The subject there and the theme there is on women empowerment, a very relevant and a very important social agenda that we as a country need to continue to focus on. There are two videos here. One is Legend of Abaka, and the next one is Kalari, the martial power of female power. If we could have the AVs, please. Video number 1.
Hello, I'm Cyrus Khambata, a filmmaker from Mumbai. My docu-feature, Legend of Abaka, explores the legacy of an awe-inspiring 16th century warrior queen from coastal Karnataka, whose story remains untold in our history books. Rani Abaka of Ular fought to defend her tiny kingdom against Portugal, the most mighty European imperial superpower nation of that time. When even Akbar the Great had to pay a tax to the Portuguese to allow his ships to trade across the Arabian Sea, Rani Abaka refused to bow down to their demands. She is known to have set ablaze an armada of 14 cannon-bearing Portuguese warships using the Agnivana of fire arrow deployed from a motley collection of fishing vessels. Abaka's story is also one of progressive ideals. Her husband, who was the king of Mangalore, sided with the Portuguese, so Abaka defied tradition and divorced him. The children stayed with the mother. Moreover, Abaka attacked the Portuguese garrison that was stationed at Mangalore and drove them out. Abaka was a progressive feminist even before this concept existed. And also, Rani Abaka was a giant queen who ruled over a diverse mix of Muslims, Hindus and Christians. The Portuguese made many attempts to sow religious discord among her subjects, but somehow their tactics never worked under Abaka's inspiring rule. Rani Abaka was a secularist even before this concept was invented. Only in the year 2017 did the Indian government finally recognize Rani Abbakka as India's first woman freedom fighter. But I have certain technical issues with that, because how can Rani Abbakka be called a freedom fighter when she was never colonized in the first place? Rani Abbakka's kingdom of Ulal never fell to the Portuguese, and therefore the Portuguese could not expand their colonies beyond Goa. Had Abbakka failed, then the history of the world post-16th century would have been drastically different. For all you know, we Indians would probably be speaking in Portuguese. It is so heartbreaking that Rani Abbakka's amazing story remains largely unknown. But when history ignores great heroes, they become legends. And that is exactly what happened with Rani Abbakka's story. Rani Abbakka's legacy has been preserved by the folk theatre traditions of Yakshagana and Bhutakola, where the performer/devotee goes into a trance and becomes a medium for the queen to communicate her message to the audience, thus elevating her to the status of a goddess. The message is that of fighting oppression, women's empowerment, upholding secular values, and love for the motherland. Ideas that were embodied by Rani Abbakka 500 years ago and still relevant to this day. Our documentary plans to incorporate this traditional folk theatre as the cornerstone around which the rest of the story is explored. We also plan to interview and involve all of those who hold a stake in keeping Abbakka's legacy alive, from naval historians to village elders. We have a lot of research material already in place and would love to tell you more. Looking forward to meeting you in person. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maria Corbelli. I'm an award-winning film director, and this is Satinder Sundari, an award-winning film director, and my husband and partner in creativity.
And crime.
So we're working on our new documentary project.
It's called Kalari, in which we trace the lives of 3 bold female Kalari practitioners. And Kalari is the oldest martial art in the world.
And the underlying topic of the film is violence against women. So we went on an extended research shoot, we edited a trailer, and here you can see it.
പത്രത്തരം ടി വി കാണിച്ചാലും നമ്മൾ എന്തെല്ലാം കേൾക്കുകയും കാണുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നത് നമുക്ക് സഹിക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്തതാണ് കൂടുതൽ ഇപ്പോൾ കുറഞ്ഞ കാലം കൊണ്ട് വേറെ പലതുമാണ് കേൾക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ഏത് സ്റ്റേജിലും പോയാലും ഞാൻ പറയാം, പെൺകുട്ടികളാണ് കളരി പഠിക്കേണ്ടത്. അവർക്ക് മാനസികമായും ശാരീരികമായും ഒറ്റൊക്കെ പോകാനും വരാനൊക്കെ ധൈര്യം വേണമെങ്കിൽ കളരി പഠിക്കണം.
അതിനൊക്കെ എതിർക്കാൻ സ്ത്രീകൾക്കൊരു പണിക്കരുത്തൊക്കെ തരാൻ മാർഷൽ ആർട്സ്, കളരി, കരാട്ടെ ഏതായാലും അനുസരിക്കുന്നത് വളരെ നല്ലതാണ്. കളരി പഠിച്ചതുകൊണ്ടാണോ അറിയില്ല, കുറച്ച് ലൈറ്റൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്.
I have friends who work as journalists. Every day they have at least reports of less than 16, 17 rapes. And they have to pick and choose which is the most brutal one. The condition is that bad because they cannot put out news of 17 rapes happening, because then their entire journal, entire reporter will be only about rapes. Resisting patriarchy has never been an easy task.
And we are looking for OTT platforms, TV channels, and producers, co-producers for our film. And you can get in touch with our representative, and through our, you can get in touch with us.
Yeah, and we are Spirited Hearing Productions.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Bye.
So we, it's fortunate that we have the makers of Legend of Abbakka between us. So I would request Cyrus Kambata and Satvesha Bose to be on the stage, please. Thanks so much, and it was lovely watching your creation. Congratulations on that. One quick question on that is, what inspired you to pick up this subject? What was the background?
So, a fellow person who was pitching their film here said that stories find you. So the Legend of Abakka found me when I was a little kid, and I had bumped into Amma Chitrakatha. And since then I've been talking about it. This was before internet and things like that. And we've been pitching it to a lot of producers, and everybody was thinking that we should be making a series about it first. But I was very sure that I wanted to make a documentary before that. So that is the journey, how it came to me.
Sure, many thought-provoking concepts there in terms of which were ahead of times, right? I mean, you mentioned yourself.
Yeah.
So it'd be a great thing to see more about it and learn more about it. Thank you very much for that, and really look forward to engaging with you.
Can I ask?
Any thoughts from your side?
Yeah, firstly, I just want to thank the people who are here from all the corporate guests. Mostly I've made films for HUL and Marico, a lot of launch films. I worked for a tiny company called Rising Sun Films. It's not a tiny anymore. And I worked there for 5-6 years under the mentorship of Shujit Sir. I've made many films. And just want to say that it's lovely that you guys here and want to sort of support documentary films and all of that. The idea of Abakka was always inspiring to Cyrus, but he sort of has spread this, vibe to everyone around so much so that right now, even coming here, we have felt a lot of, appreciation and sort of support. And as a woman and someone who's been in filmmaking for some time now, when I see the presentation and I've read the story and we've researched a lot, I feel, I feel the struggles myself. I can feel what it must be for a person, having this, being a ruler of a tiny kingdom, and then when such a mighty power trying to conquer, Calicut and Bombay and Goa and all of these provinces have fallen, and she is having this fight with her husband, and still she has to fight the Portuguese. So marital discord, and also trying to save your country and all these values. So I feel very inspired to tell this story, Love and Cyrus.
It's really great. I mean, the way you mentioned about what attracts you as a subject, and I think we'll be looking forward to seeing it in a much more enlarged manner at some point in time. All the best to you.
Thank you so much.
The next theme is on environment and sustainability, another important agenda, another important social initiative that must get recognition and also create awareness. The first project here is Whispers of the Desert Wind. If you could have the AV, please.
Is the desert a physical environment? Is it a state of mind? Or is it a character in the film that we are making? Whispers of the Desert Wind is the story of a system that worked for centuries, a bureaucratic solution that did not work, and the ongoing efforts to revive the traditional system. The film takes us to the driest part of India, the picturesque Ramgarh in the Thar Desert at the western border.
आँख में दर्द है लेकिन आप झलकने नहीं देंगे अब जाने कोई उस दर्द को समझे तो छलके। मेरे साथी मुझे कहते थे कि कहना सुनाऊं और कौन सुनाए, कहना सुनाऊं और कौन सुनाए। ये दर्द तो जब छलकेगा जब से आप कोई अपना मिलेगा, उस टाइम अपने आप आंख भर आएगी। इंदिरा गांधी नहर परियोजना हमारे क्षेत्र में आई, तो जित नहर आई वो तुम्हारा जैविक संसाधन जो तालाब था, बोरन था, गोचर था, कुआ था, बेरे थे, वो सब खत्म कर दिए, कमांड जमीन घोषित कर दी। तो मैं वहाँ से हट के ये क्षेत्र में आ गया। आज हमारे रामगढ़ क्षेत्र में बात करूँ तो 7-8% ही खेती हुई, बाकी सब खुली।
From vegetation and hydrology to how to construct a pond, Chatar Singh is a walking encyclopedia of the desert. In the last 15 years, with his motivation, the villagers at Ramgarh have constructed 5 large ponds and about 100 shallow wells with zero budget. The film also gives you an intimate window into the lives of 4 characters, giving us 4 different lenses to look at the desert. In a world staring at chronic water shortages, the desert wind whispers the secret of how to manage with less. Are we listening?
So we have the makers here again, Nandan Saxena and Kavita Bahel, if you could please come up on the stage. So, Kavita, a question on the subject again. Yes, it's an unsung hero whom we are talking about. When you made this as a subject or identified this as a subject, what is that you wanted to communicate to the audience in terms of the issue that we are talking about, in terms of its scale? And also the relevance from an audience standpoint. Why is it important to focus on something like this?
The scale, I feel, though, is local, but is global. Because here we are talking about scarcity of water, managing water in the face of climate change, in the face of things that have gone wrong. We are talking of water sovereignty in a times where we have to buy water every time when we have to drink it. So I think this theme is relevant and will resonate with the world. We as filmmakers, since last 20 years, we've been working on issues of water, conservation, Aboriginal communities, and we have got 3 National Film Awards for our work. So it's kind of a part of our life now, very close to us, resonates with us. That's this film.
Sure. And then any thoughts from your side?
Rahiman pani rakhiye bin pani sab soon. When we sit here and we have all the technology with us, we have all the progress and we talk about big things and good things, but in an over-engineered world, we are hurtling towards climate change, hurtling towards a water-scarce future where we don't have enough for our sustenance. What will we leave behind for our next generations? In that scenario, can we do something, whosoever we are, how capable you are, how capable I am, how capable Prithul Kumar is, in whatever capacity we sit here, can we leave behind a better earth today? Can we do a little bit that we can learn from communities in very fragile environments who are tapping into ancestral wisdom and doing things without waiting for the clouds, the gods or the government? They say that हम अपने हाथ जगन्नाथ, we will do whatever we can, अपना श्रमदान करके, local resources को use करके, कांटों की बाड़ एक भील के खेत में चतर सिंह ने बनवाई, रेत की आंधी आई, रेत के कण उसमें फंस गए, and those small particles of sand that got embedded created a bund. The bund stopped the rains, the rainwater from flowing out of the fields. In that year, the man took 2 crops instead of 1. In 5 years, he bought a tractor, he made a pakka house, and he became such a big hero that the upper castes are wanting to emulate a Bhil, which is a lower caste there. His wife goes to the backyard, there's a shallow well, she takes out water and comes back home. The upper caste men, their wives are still trudging 3 kilometers with headloads of those matkis of water, and they say that, and they tell their men, Eji, what is this? Can't you do something like what this Bhil Gajiram has done? So these are very positive stories, and when we got the Sunny Side of the Dock award at Dock Edge Kolkata, and we went to La Rochelle, we were told by Nordic and French co-producers that this is a global film, this will go to Cannes, this will go everywhere, Tribeca and TIFF and everything. They say that just find about a third of the finance in your country, because your country is not a poor country now. We cannot support you on the basis of an idea. You've got to come with us with at least 5-6 visits, show us the character arcs. We will get the climate change fund, we will get the cinema fund from France involved. But in our country, unfortunately, we do not have a fund for cinema. We don't have a fund for documentary. And that is where we must knock at your doors. All of you collectively, you can do so much. All of you collectively, you can be the ambassadors of initiatives like this. It is not about our film. It is about the concept of water sovereignty, which is, as our tradition goes, that was something which we always had. And if we can just go to the village and borrow their glasses of how they look at the world, where we see problems, they see solutions. That is what I'm going to say.
We've received a small grant from Ravi and Vivekanand Philanthropies. It will help us make another trip, and we look forward to more support from the industry. Believe me, it's a story that needs to go out. Thank you so much. Thank you NFDC, thank you MIF for giving us this platform.
2 years ago, I got that award. We got the award from Kolkata. Then we tried knocking at various doors. Nothing happened. Then last December, my father said, my father is a retired professor of English literature. He said, Nandan, don't keep waiting. You guys have never waited for money. You've always made your films without money because you have the skills. You teach filmmaking at workshops. We've had 2 workshops at Mumbai International Film Festival before. Make your film. I'll put 10 lakhs into your savings account. That's what he did. We sort of started going every month. कि boss कुछ करना है अभी, बाकी तो रब रखा.
Thank you both, and all the best. The next theme is healthcare, and we have 2 videos in this again. The team of Umbrellas of the Acrobats and the Value of Health. AV number 1, please.
During the time of COVID pandemic, I moved to my wife's village. On one of my afternoon stalls, something caught my attention. On the outskirts of the village, nestled near a shimmering, winding river, stood a few tents woven from faded, enchanted fabrics. This was my first encounter with the community of acrobatic performers called Domoras, a nomadic indigenous people. It became my habit to visit their place regularly and started playing with the children. During the course of time, they became my friends, and soon they shared their stories about circus animals being sold due to their father's financial struggles. As a father, I couldn't imagine my son losing even his toy. As the thought weighted heavily on me, it eventually became the motivation for me as a filmmaker. During the research and development phase, Vijay started sharing his own creative stories and wanted me to record them.
ஒரு காட்டில் பெரிய காமிச்சு வெள்ளைய பெருசா கொடை மாதிரி கட்டி குடிச்சு நல்ல குட்டி பிடிச்சி இந்த குட்டி அடிக்கிருந்து வாங்கிச்சு அந்த நிலா வந்து குட்டி வந்துச்சு அந்த குட்டி தான் என்னோட கோடு
சொல்லுங்க.
குதிரை இருந்துச்சு, காலை இழுத்ததும் நாங்களே எவ்வளோ வைத்தியம் பண்ணி பார்த்தோம். எங்களால் முடியல. வைத்தியம் பண்ண வண்டியிலே நிற்காது. செங்குறிச்சி பக்கம் இருக்கையில் ஒரு வியாபாரி வந்து எனக்கு கொடுங்க, எனக்கு யாருமே இல்லை, அந்த குதிரையை நான் வச்சுக்கிறேன் அப்படி சொன்னாங்க.
In the course of trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel, Vijay's eyesight worsens and he loses complete sight in his right eye.
We have entered a crucial stage of filming as Vijay goes through all the transitions of turning into a young adult. Mukesh will have to shoot really intensively and closely to get a nuanced narrative. So we are really relying on your support, whether it's international grants or co-production, to see us through and capture this really beautiful coming of age film.
On the whole, it's a tribute from one storyteller to another, who already makes me to believe in the exploring the quest for lost childhood and the rediscovery of innocence. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shankar Narayan, the director and producer of the documentary Valley of Heaven. Our story documents a people-led revolution in community health that unfolded over 20 years in a remote tribal village in Tamil Nadu called Sithilingi. Sithilingi's geographic position made it inaccessible for modern India. For instance, only recently did one of the villages in the valley get access to electricity. During the early 90s, the valley was plagued with a severe healthcare emergency. Infant mortality rate was heartbreakingly high, with 1 in 5 babies failing to see their first year. And maternal mortality during childbirth was tragically common. Agriculture was a loss-making entity and migration was rampant. The valley is also home to a nomadic tribe from the Mewar region of India. Imagine, in the heart of rural Tamil Nadu is a tribe that speaks a language found in Rajasthan, dresses in a typical fashion and has their own unique identity. In the quest to home is nice, this community was plagued with the universal tragedy of dilution of ethnic values. The common name of this community is often misused as an ethnic slur these days. Hope dawned with the arrival of 2 doctors in 1993, Dr. Reggie and Nerita. And this marked the beginning of a revolution in health. With the unwavering support of the villagers, they transformed the valley into a bastion of health that provides affordable healthcare to villages in a 50-kilometer radius. The results are astounding. Infant mortality rate plummeted from 147 to 20, and no maternal deaths were recorded in decades. The story doesn't end here. From training tribal women to becoming health workers, to reviving a dormant craft indigenous to the nomadic people and creating a clothing label out of it that is entirely run by tribal women, to formulating one of India's largest organic farming collectives, the results of the people-led revolution go on. This isn't just another savior story of a few good urbanites who heroically arrived to save the people. This is the story of a village that came together to fight its own problems. Our movie aims to document the revolution and the story of not just the doctors but also of the villagers. We believe that in these somber times, a story that captures the triumph of common people is the need of the hour. We believe that it will resonate universally as it is rooted in the plight of ordinary individuals. The total budget of the movie is about $9,700, of which 30% has been secured through personal sources. We aspire to showcase the movie across various film festivals, followed by online streaming. See you soon. And as they say, the revolution will be televised.
We have Mukesh Subramaniam and Sankara Narayan in between us, so please if you would come on the stage. Thanks. Quick question to Mukesh on the subject. What does this movie mean to you? And what does it mean to the child? So if you could just elaborate on that and share your thoughts and perspectives.
It means hope for It means hope for both me and Vijay.
and what do you plan to do with this movie, in the sense, what do you expect the audience to know about? What do you expect the audience to feel for when they watch this?
When I discovered that Vijay is a very interesting kid, after a very long time of research and being with the kid for more than 3.5 years, I learned from Vijay that what is the role of an artist in the time of dark times. Even he had lots of crises in his life, he always tells stories, and now he wants to become a clown to make people happy. Like that, so that teaches me a lot. And the kind of resilience which he has, he must learn them.
Sure. All the best. Sankara, hi. Again, something which is, we saw earlier video, which was again talking about how do you work within the constraints, work and find the solutions on your own. How scalable do you think is this idea? How scalable do you think is this whole, revolution around healthcare that this village has done?
So yes, regarding the scalability of this thing of revolution in healthcare, it's led by the people. So at the end of the day, the scale depends on the acceptability of the villagers. So if the community comes together, it is possible. I mean, they were an alien crowd of people who went into a different city altogether, village, to set up the hospital. Without the support of the villagers, without the support of the villagers, it wouldn't have been possible. So I guess if the people come towards it, it is a scalable idea.
It also talks a lot about innovation. Anything that you would want to share on that part?
Yeah, innovation in the sense, it's like they demystified a lot of concepts, scientific concepts, and broke it down into very accessible phenomena. Like, for instance, they trained tribal women into becoming nurses. So, and they even trained another set of people called as health auxiliaries to becoming nurses. So what they essentially did was demystify big concepts like an infant's health into simpler concepts like weight, what is the food that he or she consumes, is there malnutrition, is there diarrhea. So it broke it down into modules, and something that it was very accessible for a commoner to do. So the innovation came from a space of, when you're against the wall, you have to sort of come up with innovative solutions. So they had to sort of find answers in such places.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you both. All the best.
Thank you.
The next theme is art and culture. We have Music from the Roof of the World, directed by Prachi Hota. Can we please have the AV?
Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever. When I first heard this, in The Sound of Music, I fell in love with it, even though the homeland that Captain Von Trapp was speaking of was miles away from my own. Such was my love for my homeland. This love was only driven home further when I moved out of India to live in other countries, where my cultural moorings allowed me to conduct myself with confidence. Namaskar and hello. My name is Prachi Hota, and I'm currently working on my first feature-length documentary, Music from the Roof of the World, which is an attempt at understanding how young Tibetans, who have lived in other countries for several decades, relate to the mountains of Tibet, and how they express their relationship with their homeland through forms of music that appeal to them, like rap and hip-hop. The film will begin by introducing us to young Tibetans who shaped the rap and hip-hop landscape within the Tibetan community, the kind of music they like to listen to and create, but we will also see them outside of their careers as musicians with their families to understand the stories they tell themselves. We will then see the inciting incident that encouraged them to start creating music in Tibetan and showcase Tibetan art and culture in their music videos. For Tenzin Yust, for example, this moment came when he saw two young Tibetan children arguing with each other in Nepali. In this moment, he realized that Tibetan as a language will die out unless consciously protected. Finally, we will see the formation of a community, the success these young musicians have seen as a result of the choice to create music in the Tibetan language and showcase Tibetan art and culture, and the global Tibetan community of young musicians through collaborations that young Tibetans in India have had with young Tibetan musicians in other parts of the world, like the Tibetan-American musician Chapelet. This community encourages and empowers them to retain their relationship with their homeland through their music, through the music they love, rap and hip-hop. This is my first feature-length documentary, and I'm looking for partners and collaborators who will help me make this a reality. In addition to this, I'm hoping to get funds from the BFI Doc Society Fund. I look forward to seeing you at the NFDC Documentary Co-Production Market. Till then, take care and thank you.
Requesting Prachi to be on the stage, please. Hi, Prachi. Prachi, a question on the subject again was around how do you see the impact of music on social transformation or on preserving the entire art and culture form that you were just talking about?
I think primarily that music is universal, right? It's something that all of us listen to. If I were to talk about a statistic, Indians listen to about 23 hours of music every week, right? So we spend a lot of time online listening to music. And so when music is created in a language or showcases a culture that might be at the risk of dying out, it affects everyone because all of us like to listen to music. And you might not read an academic paper, you might not watch an interview, you might not sit through an entire podcast, but you will want to listen to a song in a language that you may not have heard before if the music gets to you. So I think music of any kind always plays a role in protecting the culture that it comes from.
And what do you think that people who are watching this will take away? And they may not be from Tibet, they may not identify with that. But what do you feel that they will want to explore from this?
I think that's a very interesting question, and the answer might be a little more complex than the previous one. But let me tell you a little bit about my own interaction with the Tibetan community. So I grew up in Delhi, and I think everyone knows about Majnu Ka Tilla, has heard of Majnu Ka Tilla. But what do we hear about it? What do we see on, say, Instagram about Majnu Ka Tilla? We see the food. And I think sometimes we take for granted the origin of that wonderful food, right? When I first interacted with the people of Majnu Ka Tilla, it was back in high school when I was asked to do a sociology project. And I think I interacted with them from a place of security because I was living with my parents. I had a home in Delhi. I was safe. It wasn't until I moved out of the country to live in London that I realized how important my culture was in allowing me to conduct myself with enough confidence that I could integrate into the culture of Britain. And that's when I realized how important the home is. So I think that's the one thing that people will definitely relate to, which is the importance of the home. And for people like the Tibetan community, the homeland.
Thank you so much, Prachi. All the best.
Thank you.
The last theme is sports. I don't need to say anything about sports, but then this is not cricket, so it'll be very interesting to watch this. Can we have the AV, please?
Hi, my name is Karma Takapat. I'm a filmmaker from Sikkim. After graduating from the Film and Television Institute of India, I've directed independent films that are premiered in festivals around the world. Currently, I'm working on a documentary feature film based on the life of Indian football legend Baichung Bhutia. Born to farmer parents and coming from a very small village in Sikkim, Baichung, for almost 2 decades, made an unimaginable climb to the pinnacle of Indian football. He became the only recognized face in Indian football. He was a captain, the poster boy, and a beacon of hope for every Indian football fan. But Baichung's glittering footballing career also came with his large share of challenges. His career was layered with discrimination, disappointments, and controversies. For long, it was touted to open up the possibilities for Indian footballers to play at the world level, but it didn't happen. Indian football had a great player who just could not make it at the world stage. Why was India's best not good enough? This question has plagued Indian football for a very long time. A closer look at its struggles reveals the larger problems that has infested the sport of football in India. While the entire country is driven by the cricket craze, the northeast of India has always been a hub for football. This documentary explores the years of apathy along with a larger sense of discrimination and alienation towards the people from the northeast. This has led to a lot of talent not being appropriately nurtured. As a sports lover and an avid football fan, I've always been bothered by the thought of how the most populated country in the world has never been able to produce a world-class footballer or compete at the World Cup. All of this has inspired me to document the story of Baichung because he is a true embodiment of an underdog who has fought through incredible prejudices of his times with sheer resilience and determination. His story also aligns with my commitment to create narratives from the perspective of the underrepresented communities that I too am a part of. In this context, I believe that Baichung's story has the power to resonate with a large audience and to bring about a positive change in the world of Indian football and beyond.
Hi, I'm Anadvi. I'm producing this film along with our producing partner Arfi Lamba. We are in Film Bazaar looking for co-producers, sales companies, sports broadcasters and funds. The budget for the film is $626,000 US. We have to shoot parts of the film in the UK as well. We also bring a 30% cash rebate on the table on qualifying production expenses in India. Our research is at an advanced stage. We have Baichung's life rights and we can begin pre-production as soon as the financing is in place. We look forward to meeting you here. Thank you.
We have Arfi Lamba within us and I request him to join the stage.
Hello.
Hi Arfi. Question on this is, India is great at playing football. When will we get better at playing football?
There's this quote by Mr. Anand Mahindra. He tweeted once that if there was a fan ball for football, like if there's ever fan ball happening, India will definitely be competing every year. So this is the same question that we are posing, and I feel documentaries and documentary filmmakers often bring some problems to the fore. Our job is to document a certain problem or document how somebody made a solution to a problem. Through Baichung's life, we'll try to see what is plaguing the Indian football scenario right now, and then we hope that through the documentary, the policymakers, the government, with an intent to change things, would be able to bring some change. The idea is to focus on what's happening right now.
And then what does this documentary mean for sports other than cricket in India?
I mean, I feel football is an equally popular sport in India. Whenever the FIFA World Cup happens, I've never seen it at my home. I've always been in a pub. And I'm not just talking about people in Bombay, Goa, Delhi, Northeast, wherever you go. We go to PVR for watching quarterfinals and finals. So it's not translating. It's not translating. So, of course, the cricket craze in country is amazing, and somehow, let's just with documentary also, you never have a structure. We only know that we are going to follow Baichung. We're going to follow his life. Go to the archival footage, see his interviews. The material that is printed. At the same time, we'll try to see where Indian football is at right now. What is the government doing? What are the attempts and policies which are already in place? Often, what happens is that there are a lot of policies that government makes, but then they never reach further. There's a whole gap in between that is happening, and the government cannot be anywhere, people cannot be anywhere. So we're trying to see where the gap is. Whatever we can document in the next few months, we'll bring that to fore.
Sure. All the best, Arfi, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So we had a look at each of the pitches that were showcased here, and I can't distinguish between any topic which was not so relevant or relevant. I mean, it's just not right to do so, because each of that was very, very relevant, very contextual, and it's important that all of these concepts are made in a manner that it gets it due. So I just wanted to also, get some reflections from our eminent panel that we have here. And I'll request Mr. Joint Secretary Pritul to kind of express his thoughts on what was his views when he saw some of those pitches, and what does he have to say to them? Any questions for them as well?
First of all, thank you so much for such lovely documentaries and all the filmmakers who are attempting putting them, documenting them. My firm belief is that documentaries raise our consciousness to whatever is happening around us. But at the same time, they are also documenting our history, visual history as to what we were going through in these times. So they also follow they also become our historians, and because they are touching upon issues which probably should be part of the corporate social responsibility of the corporates, of the industrialists, of the industries. So that's why we believe that such documentaries should be one of the powerful tools for the corporate to bring into the forefront to the people that these are the issues, and somewhere in them probably telling the problem well, it's actually reaching a solution. So that is how that is the most important thing. And we also wanted to touch upon that with this, I think the benefit which the corporates have is that once you're sort of sponsoring something, once you're sort of supporting something, it's actually the promotion of the brand is inherent. So like we saw that Coke Studio, which is I think is, Coke has nothing to do with music, but then they still do a lot of different music and things like that. Things like one of the projects which are on music can be picked up like that. So we will discuss it about later, I think, when we are having that session. But broadly, I really congratulate the documentary filmmakers, and I'm sure that some of the corporates would have it would have moved their hearts, and they could start thinking of putting the money in for the right cause. That's all from us.
Thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you soon. I'll also invite Krishna Vilasni to share her thoughts on what we just saw and any reflections.
I thought it was a very interesting mix between women empowerment, health, sports, art and culture. So I was very impressed with just a bit of the films that we have seen. I've studied film many decades ago, so it was very, very emotional for me to see them at a pitch stage, and this is my first time to really see this in a space where people from the government, people from corporate, people from the consulting world, all of us are coming together. So I think that itself is a huge win for students and filmmakers who are doing this professionally. So well done on that. I thought that the films that were really backed by a lot of research, so the ones, the historic one on on the less heard of Queen, Baka, and the stories on Tibetan music. I thought that was very, very interesting, and it makes me feel very good that we haven't really lost that zeal to kind of represent the unheard, the less spoken about concepts which are all in India. So I think overall a very, very good melange, a very, very nice spread of the work. So I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Krishna. I look forward to speaking to you as well. Can I invite Amit Bhasin to share his views and reflections?
Thank you, first of all, for everyone. I think we spent close to an hour and looking at these various topics, variety of topics, but it didn't look like that, we are looking at so different topics. It was absolutely engaging and emerging experience for me. So thank you for all the work that has been showcased here. And as my previous colleague has also said, the depth of work was clearly visible in these small snippets itself, right? It was clearly visible what is the kind of research that has gone into it, and picking the topics which are not so commonly talked about topics, picking the topic and doing into really the remote part of the countries and talking about it is something which is amazing. So I was very, very impressed with the work. We will talk about what needs to be done, sir, on how to unlock this CSR and documentary related things. I have a few thoughts when we talk about it. Definitely we'll pick up on that, but I think all the best to all the ones who have presented it.
Thank you, Amit. Look forward. And finally, I would like to invite Prashant Venkatesh on the stage, please.
Firstly, thanks for the opportunity. I must confess that I wasn't expecting this. I think the nature of the stories, the quality of storytelling were very, very powerful. So I like to think I'm a bit of a storyteller myself, been in marketing for many years, and I must confess that it's never a better time to be a storyteller. Maybe because of the number of avenues to tell stories, whether it's the rise of OTT, digital. But the challenge, of course, is, and in a country like India, there are so many stories to tell, right? With our diversity, with our ethnicities, with our cultural differences, so many stories can be unheard. And I think all the 5 stories were, I think, embodied the opportunities in India for telling great stories. So congratulations to everyone. And also delighted to see the way this has been curated very well. So well done to the team who has curated it. And finally, I think one particular aspect of all 5 stories which really struck me was they were raising awareness, but they were also talking about solutions. So it wasn't just, and in many cases they were very possibly Indian solutions as well, right? Whether it was the queen in the 1600s who was so resourceful, to the gentleman who has actually made a big difference in Rajasthan on water. So the power of raising awareness on a big emerging problem, and the fact that there is a solution which has emerged, and an Indian solution. I think it's a very, very powerful space. So kudos to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prashant. I agree with you that the common theme across all these pitches was hope. And on that hopeful note, I would want to take this forward and would like to have a discussion with the eminent panel members on how we could leverage the power of documentaries to communicate brand stories or the brand CSR stories, so to say. Look forward to have that engaging discussion very soon.